doer. Doer, do more equals success. If you are spending your time daydreaming, you are wasting your time. Is that normally the case? Do you ever have a dream that you're really passionate about, but at the same time you think it's too hard to implement? Well, what if I tell you the reality is only 4 steps away from your dream? That is dream, goal, task, and reality. Well, let me tell you a little story. Back to those days when I was in school in Vietnam, I studied days and nights. My earliest classes would normally start at 6:30 a.m. The latest one would finish around 9:00 p.m. And for 7 days straight. Weekends were a little bit better. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but my days, my nights, and my years were filled with studying, private tutors, and language classes. Since I was a child, I always considered myself a doer, a person who gets things done. As you can see, Do is my last name anyway. I know it's very convenient. Well, also back then, I have a bad habit of daydreaming. So when my teacher talked about the world map, for example, I would be imagining myself traveling around the world, thinking of what to eat, where to drink, or how to cover my travel expenses. That sometimes during lots of conversations, I went into my daydreaming mode and deep thinking that my friends sometimes they was like, Alison. My daydreaming was considered a sign of distraction, that it was not at all encouraged. That's why lots of times I try to fit in as many things into my schedule as possible and try to get myself so busy that I won't waste any time daydreaming. 6 years ago, I came to Australia as an international student. I followed the same pattern. I get myself so busy with studying, networking, and volunteering. My goals were simply graduating and finding jobs like many others. One time it changed me. Amongst hundreds of job applications that I applied for, a recruiter finally called me. And after a few minutes of chatting, she was like, Alison, I think your English is good enough for this position. And I was like, okay. Then she was like, I don't think you have enough experience for this position as well. I was thinking, isn't I just graduated? That's why I applied for this entry-level position. It's very funny that, you need experience to work, but without work, how do we even get experience, right? Well, but that's for another discussion. I still politely said yes, okay. At the end, she was like, you are not an Australian citizen, and you're not a permanent resident as well. Who knows where would you go after 2 years? I don't think any company is brave enough to invest in you. And I don't think you can get any of the position here. I was stunned. I did not know what to say or how to react. I was like, okay. I just hung up, and during that quiet moment that I start thinking again, and I went back to my daydreaming mode and start to think. I realized I was nothing much but a checklist to her, and believe for lots of other recruiters, like lots of times when we have lots of job rejections, and thousands of them, I believe, it was normal, but this time it changed me. I realized lots of things I did were simply a to-do list. I was so busy getting things done, and it doesn't matter how much I do or how hard I try. At the end, I still get rejections. And I realize as well, sometimes we get so busy with our life that we lost our sense of purpose. I was a doer without a dream. I need a purpose, I need a dream. Dreamers are those who dream. A dream does not just represent something happen when you sleep, but it's also referred to a wish you want in the future. So Experts estimate that we spend around 47% of our waking hours daydreaming. Daydreaming is a sign of a very active brain. So during our daydream, we consistently we went back to our internal thoughts, such as memories, future plans, and other personal thoughts and experiences. A study from British Columbia researchers found that during our daydreams, our brains are actively generate really rich content, and it is a lot more active compared to when we focus on our routine tasks. Do you know that Albert Einstein began his theory of relativity when he was daydreaming about running and riding beside a sunbeam to the edge of the universe and let his mind wander away from mathematics? Daydreaming let us take a step back from the reality and have a break. It lets us connect with the disconnections. Karina Christoph shares that during our daydream, we won't achieve our dream immediately, but it lets our mind take some time back and think and address more important questions in our life. Daydreaming opens our imaginations to our dream and get better chance with coming up with more creative solutions. Not only that we need to dream, but we need to dream big. Do you know why? Bigger dreams lead to bigger results. And of course, it's free. Who doesn't like free stuff, right? I like free stuff. Well, daydreaming, to be honest, do you know that your dream doesn't have to be realistic? For example, you can have a dream of having 10 houses, but at the end, things happen, life happens, and when reality hits, we might not achieve our dream. But for example, if we end up like having one house, I think that's very impressive too. And for the moon, if we missed, we might hit a star. In 2011, a study from Kelly Berkeley and Ernst Harman shows that bigger dreams are more distinguished with the more normal ones, with having more intense imagery, more physical aggressions, and it's more fantastic imagery beings. So during that quiet moment of daydreaming, I went back and I thought, okay, is really finding jobs are what I really want? Are those my goals? I realized, yes, these are my goals, but these are not my dream. I want something bigger. I want to create a great impact on this world. Also at that moment, I think of home, my friends, my family in Vietnam and Australia. Well, who has helped me to progress this far? I think sometimes in our life, we shouldn't be criticizing how far we are away from our dream, but instead, we should be proud of how far we have come and should have faith in what is yet to come. We should make each vicissitude a learning experience and a fun story to tell in the future. Can you imagine what if our life, we just don't celebrate our success, but we also celebrate our mistakes and failures? And I'm pretty sure our lives will be full of parties. As I mentioned earlier, your dream doesn't have to be realistic, but definitely that's something worth pursuing. Remember, our dream is only 4 steps away from the reality. A dream noted with a date become a goal. A goal broken down become achievable tasks. A task backed up with action become a reality. Now back to the story with the recruiter. My dream, you know what is my dream? My dream was to prove her wrong. Well, after my graduation, I was fortunate enough to start my career in a company that deliver water services to millions of South Australians. I got my dream house last year. I became an Australian citizen just a few months earlier. I was fortunate enough, and I'm really proud of that I'm volunteering for many organizations. I had the privilege to mentor lots of university students as well. I proved her wrong. And you know, my proudest achievement, I'll show you. My proudest achievement is this Australian driver license. Not only that I have one, but I have two. I almost get disqualified once, but just almost not yet. Well, you don't know how hard it would be. Well, this was me 5 years ago, dreaming that one day I would become a TEDx speaker, and here I am with you today, just to tell my story, sharing my ideas. I know that we often ask, where would we see ourselves in 5 years? But now I want you to think, are you currently in the position where you saw yourself 5 years ago? Are you or are you not happy with your current position? Did you or did you not have a dream? All you have to do is just to find a quiet moment, do a bit of daydreaming, plan it out, note it down, and do it. I know doing things will get us really far, but with daydreaming, it will even get us further. My final message for you: don't be a dreamer without doing anything. Don't be a doer without having a dream. Dream it, do it. Thank you.